All right, welcome back to the Breaker Bros. So tonight we're actually celebrating the 19 to 16 win Bengals against the Rams. So, did you have any initial thoughts?
It was choppy, but they got the job done. I mean, defense played great. Offense is still kind of working some things out, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like early on they kept on like shooting themselves in the foot because this game felt better in general because it seemed like we were actually doing stuff on offense, but then we would have like these penalties, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
But and then the defense was weird too because it's like, don't get me wrong, overall they played really good, but they would give up like these big plays,
hmm
and then we would get like a turnover or like a sack or like because I think they ended up with like 6 sacks, and then we had the 2 picks. I don't know. It feels like it could have been one of those games where it could have been a lot more lopsided. And it
Yeah,
ended up being a
the
close
offense
game.
didn't do much, right? Yeah.
Well,
No,
no, I was gonna say it felt like we could have capitalized on more like series and like especially on some of those turnovers and like a
yeah.
lot. We settled for a lot of field goals because like we got into like penalties or we just have to give up.
hmm
I mean, obviously credit to like Aaron Donald or um, I think there's actually I saw that he only had 1 sack, but someone else got a sack on their end. So,
Yeah.
um, but overall, I mean, like we just want the win, like just to
Yeah, they needed to get a win for sure. I mean, I thought that was uh as must win as week 3 can be, right?
right. And I also thought Burrow in general like pretty good. I mean, I think they definitely emphasized getting the ball out quickly.
hmm Yeah, to me, it didn't seem like he didn't seem to have like the same zip on his throws as he normally does. They seem to kind of float a little bit today.
Yeah, but I mean, I felt like because of like the drama leading up to the game and all of the speculation, maybe that's what they were playing into, that they knew he wasn't as like hurt as what it may seem, because like there was a real concern that he
hmm
wasn't going to play this game, and there was actually some people suggesting that he was going to go to IR. But based
hmm
off of like how he played, like I'm not even worried about it anymore. I mean, obviously there's always a concern of
Well, you would
re-injury,
think
but
that they're not worried about it either. I mean, I was thinking about it. I mean, how many times they throw it? 50, 52, 53?
no, they threw
I
it a lot,
mean,
especially tonight.
I mean, if you're worried about protecting your quarterback, it seems like you wouldn't have him throw it 50 times a game.
No, and then I felt like early on in the game, it seemed like the running game was doing pretty good. We would get these chunks, and then he had that 12-yard touchdown run. But then, like late in the game, I just sometimes I feel like we get too cute with it. Like I
hmm
definitely thought we should have ran when we did, but like they kept on doing this weird thing where like Mixon would be next to Burrow, and then he would motion him behind him. And like every time they did that, they knew that we were running. I guess we're trying to set up for like a trick play potentially, or
hmm
like maybe not like a trick play, but some type of wrinkle. But that was another thing. I felt like overall the play calling was much better than what we saw in the first couple of weeks. Like it really
Yeah, I mean,
felt
we
like.
were talking about they needed to make a concerted effort to get the ball to Jamar. So, I mean, they got it to him.
How many yards did he end up with?
I don't know. Last I paid attention, it was like over like 130.
Yeah. Can't remember if he got another catch after that, but yeah, I would say it's probably 130, 140. I know it's at least 130 something.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But no, that was good. And I guess that was another thing early on in the game is that I felt like we had a few drops or
Yeah.
miscalculations. I don't know if this is more on the Burrow side or maybe some of the receivers, but it just didn't seem like we were hitting things in stride. Like we couldn't
mm,
continue that momentum.
Yeah. No,
But
the first half was frustrating. On the frustration level, it was uh at halftime I decided to make candied orange peels. Um it's just, I had enough. So,
yeah,
but I got a nice simple syrup out of it too. So,
nice, nice. And then the Rams. I mean, I know we didn't think they were going to be the best team competitive wise, but
I
they're
thought
a
this
pretty good
game
team.
was going to be I thought this game was going to be close and kind of messy. Um you know, just had that feel to it. And yeah, I mean the Rams, I mean they were 1-1 coming in, so I mean, you're 0-2. It's hard to say that you're head and shoulders better than anybody else, but I mean, to me, it's like the same stuff, same issues. Um, One thing that I really liked was like we keep playing against teams playing like the two deep safety, and I mean, not like I'm a football genius or anything, but I remember that if someone plays a two deep zone on you, what you try to do is you try to hit the tight end right up the seam in between the safeties. And they actually hit one of those in the first
Oh yeah, with
half.
Tanner Hudson.
Yeah. And I thought, well, if you could hit those a couple times for 20 yards, that might keep the defense a little bit more honest, Or, if they want to just give you 20 yards to the tight end every time, then just take that throw, instead of just running, you know, for 2 yards. Because, I mean, Mixon had a good game. We got goal line Mixon, so he had that burst. But then the rest of the game was just kind of choppy and slow, kind of plodding. So
Well, I
I just
think
feel like,
late in like the fourth quarter, like I said, they start doing like some of the like weird stuff with him in the backfield, and so just straight up running it like they were and having that success. They try to do something. I don't know if they're
mhm,
trying to catch him off guard, but every time they motioned him like behind Burrow, like we would lose 2 yards. Like they would just immediately be in the backfield. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's a weird game because like I said, the defense started off kind of slow. Like they would give up these big plays, but then every time we gave up a big play, it seemed like they would get two big plays in a row, like whether it was a sack or interception or because they ended up with
yeah.
6 sacks, and I think Trey Hendrickson had a few, and I guess there was a whole bunch of and then Dax Hill had a sack. That was crazy.
Yeah,
His
Max Hill looked great today.
yeah, yeah.
Like I remember I was talking to my friend last week, and they were saying, the defense, the secondary got worse, and you've been saying that they might get better, and I thought they were playing a little bit better, but like Dax Hill made a lot of plays today, and he looked like like a star, looked like a guy could be a playmaker. Logan Wilson made some plays. Mike Hilton made some plays. So it was just like that. I mean, the defense is carrying the team right now. I think if the defense didn't play so well, I don't know that the Bengals could have pulled this one out.
Yeah, no, I would agree with it. I think the defense kind of carried the team, and the offense did enough
Hmm.
to get us in position to kick those field goals. I mean, McPherson, he missed that. I think he was a 59-yard field goal. It seemed like it had the distance, but like once it got caught up in the
Hmm.
air, it kind of like, I mean, it didn't even seem close, like based off of
Hmm.
my memory. But then he hit every single field goal after that, and he had like multiple 50-yard ones, and then some deep 40-yard field goals. So he was pretty clutch. But yeah, no, I would say the defense and like how they would get all these sacks or those turnovers, and they just had really big moments. And then Dax had another play that stuck out. It's like he got that tackle for a loss,
Hmm.
and like it was just really impressive because you can just see like his makeup speed, like how he's got that burst. Because like they did one of those plays where like they try to like get it to like one of those quicker receivers. I think it was a receiver, but they threw it in the backfield. Like I don't know if it was like a screen or whatever, but he just shot back there and they lost like 3 or 4 yards, which to me is basically like a sack. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they kept on coming up big throughout the game, and then yeah, Jamar Chase. That was a big thing with him breaking out. What
Yeah.
did he have, like 12 or 13 catches, right?
Yeah. He had a lot of catches. I I
It,
stopped paying attention when they said he had 15 targets, so can't remember if it was 12 catches or 13 catches.
yeah, it's just weird because it's like the first couple of weeks we didn't see anything like this, and then it felt like today we could just it felt
You
like
you
normal
know, I
Jamar
like
Chase,
I
like he's
like
always
yeah,
open,
I
right?
like seeing him, show some passion arguing with like the corner, like
Yeah, I like
somebody. I
that.
mean, like guys like Jamar and T. Higgins. I mean, they have to assert themselves and start taking over games because, or, I mean, personally, I feel like what's going to unlock the offense is getting speed in the backfield, and hitting the tight end when the tight end's open. Because if you can get somebody that's dangerous back there that can break a big run for a touchdown, and you can hit your tight ends consistently to, get. I mean, you don't even need to get first downs or big chunks, just to move the ball a little bit, right? I mean, there's just it was nice to see the tight ends, producing today.
Yeah.
Now, if you can combine that with like a big, 30, 40-yard touchdown run or more, I think that's what's going to unlock the offense.
I think they
when
had a
look
chance
dangerous
for a
back there.
big play. Like it was like a screen to Mixon, but somehow he got tripped over. I think had he not got tripped over, like that would have been like a huge play. And then another thing, when you were talking about getting speed in the backfield, another thing back to like the play calling, I liked how they put Jamar Chase in the backfield several times. I think there was like 2 or 3 times where they had Jamar Chase starting out in the backfield or motion out. And it's just like, okay, finally, this is like the offense, but I think most people envision was like you would have all these little like trick plays, and like, and in credit to Sean McVay too, because it's like, I feel like they knew how to scheme a little bit better, because again, they would get like all these big plays, the Rams, and then we would just be fortunate enough to get like a turnover or cause like a penalty or.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams looked dangerous, and the Bengals their offense still doesn't look dangerous. It looks like.
I think they were starting to heat up though. Like they were starting to. It's just
bit,
like a lot of the penalties stalled them early on, and then second half they were just starting to play like a little bit conservative.
If you said one team had like elite playmakers, then you would expect like kind of the big plays like the Rams were producing, right?
Right. Yeah. Like we were
almost played like a team without that talent, right? Like, oh well, we hope we can, get the ball out fast and get 3 yards, and if we get a holding call, we're gonna have to punt. I mean, that's just not elite.
Because I want to say our biggest play was to Jamar Chase, where they did like that. I think was it a play action? It's like a fake toss, and then he rolled out, and then he threw it over, which it could have been like 30, 35 yards. But yeah, everything else seemed to be more of like a dink and dunk, and basically find Jamar Chase in open space, which is like perfect. I mean, I feel like
I'm fine with that. I mean, like that works, but I mean, just like they play like a team that doesn't have. They play like a very mediocre offense right now. I mean, they've been very mediocre. They've been like,
well, that's why I was saying before, if they
like
just finished the
overmatched
drives, this
team.
game could have been like a 35-6 type game,
Yeah, but they didn't.
Well, they didn't. You're right, but at the same time, I think they were starting to get that success, and then once you start to get that success, I feel like it's going to continue a bit more. Like they'll get that rhythm a bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean they need to.
But early on, it felt like, again, we were like moving the ball, and then there was like this one drive where we had 2 false starts back to back, and it went from like 3rd and 1 to like 3rd and 11, and then we didn't convert, and we had a punt. It was like stuff like that. And I feel like if we clean that up and we just carry that moment, it might have been off the first offensive series, because I was like we were moving the ball, right? And then we kind of stalled. Oh, no, because I think what happened was we missed that 60-yard field goal. And it might have been the second or third position that we had. But it was just like we would do things to kind of move the ball, and then we would either have a false start or some type of penalty, or something was off sync, or there'd be a drop. And then it seemed like towards halftime or a bit after halftime, we were kind of like figuring everything out, So still a bit sloppy. You're right.
That's what I'm talking about, though. It used to be like if it was 3rd and 1 and you got a false start and it was 3rd and 6, you'd be like, so what? And the other team would be like still scared,
Yeah.
And it felt like it just seemed like they got the 3rd and 6, and then they were pressing, and then you get another false start. It just feels very much like a team that is being overmatched when they shouldn't.
Well, how would you say the crowd was? Because I tend to watch the games muted. I don't like to listen to like anything just to have that announcer bias. But It just they tend to get on my nerves. But how would you say the crowd was?
I think the crowds was like us. I mean, they were loud, but they were a little antsy.
Yeah,
Little, I
there
mean,
was
there's
definitely
some
moments I could
booing
see just by
and a little
facial expressions.
frustration. Yeah, because you're just like, I mean, I think that the fan base is feeling what we're feeling. It's just like, they're better than this,
Hmm.
and it's just frustrating that they start so slow in the season and in games.
I do
It's
feel
just
like
like this pattern.
they did. I feel like they might have caused at least 2 timeouts. There's 2 times I can remember where like they had to call a timeout at the very last second.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was because of the crowd or they were just in the wrong formation. But it was definitely
Yeah,
both times they were on offense. So I like I said, I had most of the game on mute, so like I couldn't really tell like how well the crowd was. I mean, when we were
yeah. I mean, it
doing
was
good,
blue, so that was good.
what's that?
I said not a lot of blue. I mean, a lot of games you
No,
see a
it
lot more
it
opposing
looked
fans. It seems
pretty much
very,
completely white. Now there's a few sprinkles of like orange, but and then I just felt I only saw like maybe 20 Rams fans altogether. Like there'd be like
hmm
2, 1. I think I saw a group of
yeah,
5, but it mainly seemed like Bengals fans. Like
yeah. I mean, a lot. I mean, thinking of like recent games against California teams, and like I remember like for the Chargers game, there were tons of Chargers fans there. I couldn't believe it. Um, so I don't know.
I do feel like for Zach Taylor though, I know it may not seem like that big of a deal, but I think to get that revenge game, I guess again, especially against a former, I guess his boss or however you want to call it, mentor or
I,
superior
c-
or
I hope not, man. I really hope not.
why?
I hope we're above that.
No, I mean it's a win's a win. Like I think you should celebrate it
Yeah,
for a
win's
day
a
and
win, but
move
I mean,
on.
it's
But
just like,
it
I
still feels
mean,
good. We
yeah,
get him back. Like this is a team we lost to the Super Bowl, and it's Sean
we didn't get
McVay.
them back. They won the Super Bowl.
I mean that's true, but it's still better to beat him and then lose to him again.
Yeah, I mean, it would
I mean,
hurt way
overall,
worse if they
I
beat them
agree.
again.
It's not the fact that we beat the Rams; it's the fact that we actually won. Right now,
Yeah,
we're 2-1. The rest of the
1 and
division,
2.
or I'm sorry. The rest of the division is 2-1. We're one and
Yeah,
two, but we're essentially one game back. And then I want to say our division. I want to say 2 of the division rivals play each other, so
yeah.
it's one of the situations
Shout out
where
to
if
the
we win,
Colts. Gardner Minshew hooked us up, man.
that
It's
was
crazy.
that was a crazy game. Holy crap! I actually turned off the TV because I thought Baltimore was going to win because
Yeah,
I think it was like third and something. And from what I saw, I thought he caught the pass, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I
yeah,
just turned it off because it was well within their kicker's range. And then
yeah.
next thing I know is I check like my phone, and it says that there's like some type of meme or something. And it's like, wait, Baltimore lost? And then I rewatched it, and it's like, oh, it was an incomplete pass. He didn't even catch it.
Oh,
And then it was
yeah.
like the play before they had like the 4th down, I think.
Mm.
And then then that was the controversy where pretty much was pass interference and they didn't call it. It's just kind of weird. But
Yeah, I wasn't paying a ton of attention. I was at the casino, but I remember looking up and seeing Justin Tucker line up for a kick with a tie ball game. I was like, oh,
yeah, that's
guess the Ravens
GG.
are going to win again. And then I watched it and it went short. And I was like, oh, well, that's different.
Oh yeah, that's right. He went for like a 60-yard field goal
Yeah,
and somehow it was short. But I think at the time it was like rainy, not the best field conditions. But normally he hits a 60-yard field goal and he still has like 10 yards to spare. So like for him
yeah.
to
No, I mean, I fully expected them to win when you see them lined up and they're kicking it.
well, that was the thing with McPherson's kick today when he kicked his. Well, it was a 15-yard field goal. It just went wide, but it felt like he had plenty of air on it.
Hmm
So like, and I think they showed him kick a 75-yard field goal in pregame. Like I was keeping up with
Mm.
Twitter. Is with one of those little placeholder things.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the right conditions, I think he can hit technically a
Fill the
75-yard.
football up with helium.
I mean, I feel like you could probably kick it further with that, but I feel like it would also be harder to be accurate with it
Yeah.
because it'd
Maybe
be
half
much
helium?
lighter.
Hydrogen. Fill it up with hydrogen. It's explosive.
Could you potentially put magnets in a ball, and then
you can put magnets in a ball,
and then make it to where like it would be attracted to the field goal post? Like, you know what I mean? All thinking about it,
that's
I know.
what happened. Yeah,
What do you mean?
it hit the post.
Oh yeah, I was
It
gonna
had
say
magnets.
we
It had too many magnets.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
I don't know.
I feel
I mean,
like
you could.
another little
I don't
random
know
thought.
what
I
the
feel like
poles
my
are made
prediction
of.
for
Are
the
the poles
game score
aluminum?
was pretty close. What's that?
I feel like the poles are probably aluminum, right?
Probably. It would have to be something
So
kind of light.
they're not magnetic.
Well, you could put something in the pole to make it magnetic, right? In
Yeah,
certain
you could.
spots. It would have to be a really strong magnet, though.
Well, you can make really strong
Wouldn't
magnets.
that affect, like, for it to be as strong as what it would need to be? Wouldn't it affect, like, the cell phones that would be close to it? Or anything?
Probably erase everybody's credit cards.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would cause a lot of damage to something.
Yeah,
for it to work.
Probably like fry all the pacemakers and you know.
It'd be worth it for the 3 points, though.
Yeah, sounds like a B-Dubs commercial.
Right? You're right. It actually does. Any other thoughts you want to add to this game, or?
Well, I mean, what you said, I thought you were pretty close to the game score. No, I mean, I think we said it all.
Yeah.
I mean, all we have
I'm just
to say,
excited.
I don't know.
You know, it feels
You're
good.
excited? I don't know, man. I don't feel good. I feel just like I was worried about what it'd be like to be 0-3. I wasn't ready for the football season to be over. So to me, it's just like, okay, they're kind of got that win. Still have a ton of work to do on offense. I mean, they can't leave it all on the defense like that. I mean,
no, and I suspect that the offense will start to play better and better, and that's kind of what I'm seeing based off of the second week. Or I guess you couldn't even include the first week, but the first week was so bad, it's like you might as well throw that away.
yeah.
But from the second week to third
we
week, it was much better
We
improvement.
need to get Chase Brown some carries.
Yeah,
they need
I
to
think
get him
they'll
out.
start to get that.
I mean, we need that game-breaking speed back there. You know, especially if you're going to throw 50-something times a game. Who cares, right?
Yeah. I mean, based off how they played today and how Burrow looked, because like I said, I kind of got into that drama with him possibly sitting out a game or two, or maybe even going to IR. So it was like, but based off of how he played and how the defense looked, and I feel like more confident going into Tennessee next week. Like, I feel like we should be able to handle business, especially the way we played this week. Just got to clean up those mistakes, those mental errors, and find a little bit better way to get in more sync. But I think it will come.
Tennessee before we talk again. We're gonna do it again Wednesday. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out Tennessee. What's their record? Are they
Tennessee
1-2, or are they 0-3?
I think they might be 1-2 too.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be another big game in Tennessee. Right?
But I just want to say their most recent match
right?
looked pretty lopsided. I think their last match they got beat pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's a week-to-week league, so can't really put too much into it.
Maybe they'll bench Tannehill.
I think if he has a poor performance this week and maybe the following week, I think at that point they would have to start looking into it.
Yeah, well, hopefully they leave him in for us, and then bench
I think
him next
so.
week.
And then I don't think they're going to switch it up now.
Yeah, giving away all these spoilers.
All right.
All right, catch you later, man.
All right.
You like that?